Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing today? Well, baby, if you are Tony Buzbee, you have finally delivered what everybody was waiting for. Y'all, Tony Buzbee has filed 6 new lawsuits against Diddy. Baby, we did our research and we got all the court documents, and we need to talk about every last case. Y'all, Diddy is done. On top of that, Tony Buzbee said that he sent out hundreds of complaint letters to Diddy's co-conspirators. There are a lot of clues in the legal documents. What's up, everybody? I hope you had a great weekend. Let's get right into the full court documents and legal analysis breakdown. It's going to be a good one. Everybody settle in. We're going to try to get through all 6 documents. They are lengthy. We might break this up into multiple lives, but it's okay. Because if, your boss ain't talking about nothing, and neither is your man or girl, they just busy getting on your nerves, okay? Let's get into this. Oh, also, just to get you guys know, I'm going to put a link in the description box. November 4th, I'm actually going to be popping in to Vegas's #1 morning show. We're going to be popping into Vegas' #1 morning show. I'll put a link. It's going to be on Jokes and Jams 107.1 FM, 1400 AM. It's going to be with the host, Spank E, Hype Panda, Wildcat, and of course, your girl. They play old school R&B and hip hop. Don't worry, I'm gonna get my little TikTok. Do you want to dance? I'm gonna make sure I get my music played too, right? It's gonna be from 7 to 8 a.m. The girl will be getting into it. All right, let's get into it. Who do we want to talk about first? Because there are so many. If you guys don't know, there are 6 lawsuits. There are 3 men, 3 women that spans over 20 years. We have been hearing rumors for a while that they actually expanded Diddy's investigation before 2008. We are now starting to see from the Tony Buzbee lawsuits that one victim is saying it happened in 2004, and it's going even before that. It looks like they are going to the early years of Bad Boy. Let's also not forget, in the early years of Bad Boy, people said, well, by people, I mean Cassie in her lawsuit said that Bad Boy was funded from seed money. Bad Boy was funded from seed money from the Black Mafia family, and from that seed money, Bad Boy actually grew as a staff, a record label, and an MF and crew. If you believe what Tupac was saying, you guys, I don't understand how Diddy thinks he's coming back from him. By the way, did y'all know that Diddy's lawyer, Mark Agnifilio, is back? Mark is back. Before we get into these lawsuits, we need to talk about this. Mark is back. Now, if you guys don't remember, I did a video a week or 2 back saying, yo, Mark Agnifilio is gone. They got a trial lawyer that dealt with death penalty cases to come on board, and also somebody from the Shapiro law firm, no relation to Robert Shapiro. It's a different lawyer. However, okay, people were shocked to see that after Diddy's last hearing that Mark Agnifilio is back. Well, we got a little inside information as to why Mark is back. And Mark is basically back because the legal streets are saying, and again, we don't know Mark, we don't know Diddy, we are just saying our opinion, right? But the legal streets are saying that the reason Mark is back is because, as much as people say Diddy is, we're about to get into the court documents, just waiting for a few more people to get in here, right? But people are saying that, as much as people are saying that, like, oh my God, Diddy's on suicide watch, Diddy's this, Diddy's that. People are saying that Mark Agnifilio, and by proxy, I guess his wife, because they run a law firm together, are the only ones that will cave to Diddy's demands. They are the only ones that are letting Diddy think that he has a chance of winning. They're the only ones that are saying, when Diddy says, no, we need to do this, and this, that they're like, yeah, absolutely. You're a smart man. You're on the right track. Now, why is that important? Any lawyer worth their salt knows Diddy, again, this is all lawyer opinion. Diddy, you're doing too much. You need to slow down. You need to slow the trial down. The federal government has heaps of discovery. If this was just two civilian people, rushing to a speedy trial might help because there's a chance that they won't have a chance to file charges or get things. The federal government has guaranteed that there will be superseding charges. The federal government, not only that, has an unlimited staff or payroll. You want this pushed up? You want this pushed up? Then guess what? We will get as many people as we need to go through evidence, do decoding, do this, do that, jump on the case to make sure, we're ready for the trial on May 5th. The only problem is, Diddy, you don't have enough money to hire a team to go through all that. Or maybe you do, but do you want to spend it? Because you still got 11 kids. You still have all these expenses. You still have to pay your house mortgages. You still have to actually live your life and pay for these kids that you have in a certain lifestyle. You still need to be a parent, but not only that, you still need to pay off investors. You still need to pay off your team. You still need money to grease hands, kiss babies, and do whatever else. But Mark Agnifilio is literally feeding into Diddy's enormous ego. This is what people are saying. My opinion, believe what you want. He was the only one that was willing to feed into Diddy's enormous opinion. So when they saw what happened with the bail hearing, and they saw that not only did they lose their bail appeal, but they were mocked on social media, they were taunted, people were teasing Mark Agnifilio. Now, part of it is Diddy's fault. You shouldn't have been witness tampering. You shouldn't have been trying to coerce witnesses. You shouldn't have been doing all the stuff. But from a legal point of view, people are like, yo, does Mark have any control over his client? How come he didn't let Diddy know it's a bad idea for you to be contacted? How come you didn't let Diddy know that $50 million, they might still spit in your face and say no? What is Mark actually doing? Well, it's simple. Mark is going out of his way. Mark Agnifilio is going out of his way to make sure that whenever Diddy says something, he's going to do it. What's the first case in point? Well, it's simple. If you guys remember on that insane pleading that he did, I did a live, but I'll just give you the short version before we get into the court documents, right? When you look at the insane pleading that he did, Diddy actually said that, one, he wants the Cassie video thrown out. Now, I know there were a lot of people being like, this could be a game changer. Diddy, what is it? Stephen Miller, whatever his name is on the sports chart, it's like, this could be a game changer. If that video gets thrown out, Diddy's going to go free. To which I say, maybe if that was the only evidence, you realize the person he actually beat will be in the courtroom. You realize that Cassie can testify under penalty of perjury what actually happened. You realize her tear-filled testimony can also be used. Just because that's like saying that when you rob a bank, you can't use the video. Okay, but I still got the security guard, the bank teller, and all the people being like, Tisa did it. It was her. I saw it. Cassie's tear-filled testimony is still going to fill in the blanks. And let's also not forget that Diddy, under penalty of perjury, cannot say that he never did it. Even if the tape gets excluded, you still have to testify under penalty of perjury whether you did something or not. And you're not allowed to lie in a court of law where everybody knows you're lying and then be like, well, you can't use the tape to call me a liar. No, but you are lying, and we can actually get you for penalty of perjury. Whether or not it's admitted into evidence, we can get you on penalty of perjury. So Diddy's going to go down with that. But also in that thing, Diddy made an insane demand that he demanded that, you know what? Once you throw the video out and once we're done looking through every email, text message, or whatever for Department of Homeland Security to prove to me that they not leaking, even though his team is steady leaking, right? They wanted a one-way gag order. Then after that, I will give the federal government a list of witnesses I want excluded. Sir, who are you to tell anyone who they can have on their witness list or not? If the federal government can't tell Diddy who he can call in to be a witness, that is not. You want to sit there and tell the government what witnesses they can use. And on top of that, you want all charges immediately dropped. On top of that, you want all charges immediately dropped. Again, It's the delusions of a madman. It's a delusion that of somebody that thinks they got more power than they do. It's a delusion of a person that doesn't really know what he's talking about. But also, this is why they're saying Mark is back, because Diddy's other lawyers were like, sir, can you please sit down? Can you please be quiet? Can you please stop going through this stuff? And what happened? Diddy didn't like the way they talked to him. Diddy didn't like the fact that they were literally trying to tell him what he needed to do to live in reality on planet Earth. Diddy didn't like any of that mess. So what is going on now? Well, I'll tell you, Diddy had to go back to the person that soothes him, his comfort animal, his person that tells him everything's going to be all right. And he's a smart man and he's on the right path. Diddy went on back to Mark because Mark is the only attorney telling him what he wants to hear. The only thing is, Diddy somehow thinks he's the smartest person in the room, and he doesn't want to listen to the legal experts that are saying you are playing this all wrong. What you want to do is not in your benefit. What you want to do is not in the lexicon. What you want to do really needs to be calmed down. Again, listen, again, I was talking to my girl Black Letter Law. Hopefully we can get her on the station. She is busy making waves in the legal community, but hopefully we can get her on. We can get her on really, really quick. She had an interesting point, right? She said, again, there's the fourth male plaintiff. She said, also, I was thinking about this the other day. The judge can decide to throw the video out because we know the feds politely handed that video to CNN. Also, they need more victims to testify because Cassie will be brutalized on the stand. Okay. She thinks that Diddy's team, if they are smart, and that is a big if, will try to brutalize Cassie on the stand. They will try to paint her as complicit. They will try to paint her as Diddy's just saying Maxwell. I actually will go a step further, that if Diddy could get away with it, he would try to paint himself as a sucker for love. This 19-year-old was leading me by the nose. I didn't know what to do. She had my heart. She had this and that. And they will try to make Cassie as the wrong one. Or, Alfie has a pretty measured way of thinking. I think her measured way of thinking is nice. She said, she says that she thinks that they're going to paint her as someone who was complicit because she enjoyed the lifestyle. And she said, for people that don't understand abuse, that won't be a hard sell to make, right? Listen, again, she says that she thinks Diddy's team is going to try to expand the complaint and really dive in and be like, yeah, you wrote all this, but there's a lot you left out in the complaint. And she thinks Diddy's team is going to be like, why? Because it could incriminate her and cast a shadow on her claims. Listen, if these Buzbee people can be believed, at the end of the day, I think there's going to be a lot more than Cassie. Cassie is not their only witness. Now, while she is their star witness, because a lot of people know Cassie, she's not their only witness. If you see what I'm saying, again, they're already starting talking about this is a thing of jealousy and love and lust. In what world? And they're also playing into depravity, right? Because you and I might not do that, but that's just what those Black people do. Right? That's what they're doing. As much as they keep trying to pull, in my opinion, and I say this as a Black woman, the race card, Diddy's team 100% is forgetting the fact that you preyed on Black and brown women and men, but you're going to try to say that this is just what we do in the communities. This is what, it might not be our cup of tea, but that's what rappers do. I don't really like that. Anyway, let me get into these lawsuits. Melanie King said, happy Monday, Tisa. Keep on doing you and following the money. You're finding answers. Have you thought of doing a live with Andy S. with Popcorn Planet and a surprise witness? I'm doing research for a film project. Melanie King, thank you so much for being a member for 4 months. And also, yeah, I'm open to lives and podcasts with a lot of people, big fans of Popcorn Planet and the surprise witness. Of course, anybody can reach out to me, and probably Wednesday I'll actually start going through my emails and see who's actually contacted me. Okay, so let's get into one of the cases. At the end of the day, there is it looks like 4 males sorry, I said it was equally men and women. It looks like there's 4 males suing and 2 women. They all have different cases. They go back to 2004. They are suing, let's get into this, Sean Combs, of course, Daddy's House Recording, Combs Global, Bad Boys Entertainment Holdings, Bad Boy Production Holdings, Bad Boy Books Holdings, Records LLC, Bad Boy Entertainment LLC, Bad Boy Production LLC, and of course, any unnamed Diddy companies. Again, I feel like the record companies and a lot of these places are going to be, they're going to have a world of hurt. Let's get into the first case, shall we? Where are we at? Okay, so let's just start from the beginning. Okay, the case seeks compensatory and punitive damages for the SA of, this is the biggest one. This one, when I say this is a John Doe, we need to call this a little John Doe. We have the case where Diddy was sued by the A minor, right? Sued by the A minor. Let's get into that right now. Also, you guys, if you guys can hit the like button or hype this up, I would be very, very appreciative. I see there are 1,535 people in the chat and there are 295 likes. Now, I'm not going to hold y'all hostage for likes. That is my pet peeve too, when YouTubers be holding people hostage for likes. But, get it how you live it. Maybe they know something I don't, because y'all be playing them Facebook likes. But you know what? Let me earn some value first. And once I earn that value, hit that like button, subscribe, notifications, or whatever. Okay. Okay. They said this case seeks compensatory and punitive damages for the SA of a minor. The assault, which was part of a practice that Sean Combs had of grooming or attempting to groom minors, occurred at what was termed as a white party at Diddy's residence in New York. The conduct described herein is shockingly typical of Sean Combs. Diddy was aided in his abhorrent conduct over the years, right? By many individuals and entities. Sean Combs for many years believed he was above the law. He is not. Y'all do remember that, if you guys saw it over the weekend, Tanisha, excuse me if I'm mispronouncing her name. She was a very brave worker. She went on the soft white underbelly and she told that she almost got trafficked at Diddy's house. It's actually a really good interview, but one of the most shocking things she said is when she walked into a room, she confirmed that there were little people dressed up as Harajuku girls. Now, when she said little people, I assumed she was actually talking about, little people. However, in a sentence after that, she literally said she looked around and was like, what are y'all doing here around all those grown people? Implying that they were also A minors dressed up as little mini Harajuku girls with red lipstick running around Diddy's party when there were freak offs going on in every single corner. She said it was like Sodom and Gomorrah. And she said, no, she recognizes the devil when she sees it. She also said that Diddy's sons were going through the crowd looking for women that they knew their dad liked, giving them terry cloth slippers, and that was so they could actually enter the house and be taken advantage of. And when they gave her the slippers, she said she felt like, yo, I was chosen. I'm gonna hide, but she wouldn't go into the house because she didn't feel right. And they kept circling back on her, being like, yo, when you going in? When you going in? And when she went into the house, she saw the craziest stuff, and she saw a bunch of celebrities there. She said at least 4 celebrities. Lena, thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate that. Okay, let's get back into these legal documents. For decades, Sean Combs abused, molested, raped, assaulted, threatened, and coerced men, women, minors, and others. Wait, men, women, minors, and others? Who else is there? And others. Men, women, minors, and others. You better not tell me there weren't some cows and chickens running around in that Bad Boy Studios. What you mean, and others? What else is there? I mean, I guess you could say people that don't identify as man or woman. Maybe that's it, but I don't know. They said, and others for sexual gratification to assert dominance and to conceal his abhorrent conduct. He accomplishes acts by and through a criminal enterprise built on his success as a rapper, record producer, and record executive. Combs is one of the wealthiest musical artists in the world. Behind the facade of being a three-time Grammy winning artist, discovering and developing multiple famous and musical artists, raking in Forbes' list of the highest paid entertainers in the world, there existed something sinister, a dark underbelly of crime, sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, bribery, and prostitution. Diddy is a menace to society, women, and children. While his wealth has kept him above the consequence for years, we are reading the court documents. Combs now faces the awesome power of the American judicial system, and ultimately, a jury of his peers will be asked to punish him for the deplorable conduct described herein. Now, he actually gives a big section on Diddy's business. Let's just get into this because this is actually really interesting. We are deep in, we are still on page 2 of Diddy's complaint going through. Combs' enterprise is central to the pervasive acts of sexual assault and abuse committed by him during the last decade. Combs operated his business, headquartered at various times in Manhattan and Los Angeles, under a variety of United States-based corporate entities, including Bad Boy Entertainment, Bad Boy Holdings, Daddy, this, that, and the third. You know all his things. Diddy got more businesses than he got children. That lets you know that's a lot. Corporate entities in the Combs business portfolio included record labels, a recording studio, an apparel line, alcohol spirits promoting business, a marketing agency, talent discovery, a television network, and a media company. On the surface, each of these businesses served a legitimate purpose related to entertainment, music, and other subjects. But in reality, Combs, by and through himself and his agents, employees, and contractors, use these businesses to sexually assault, abuse, threaten, and coerce hundreds of individuals through sexual quid pro quo schemes, as well as take advantage of individuals with impunity, thinking the victims would never seek recourse. Combs and his agents, employees, and contractors through these Combs businesses would tell victims, this is what it takes to be famous. What are you willing to do to become a star? And perform the sexual act or else to coerce the victim into performing the non-consensual sexual act for gratification of Combs and his cohorts. By the way, they said they sent out hundreds of letters. Members and associates of Combs' business engaged in and are attempted to engage in, among other activities, sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for the purpose of prostituting, coercion and enticement to engage in prostituting, narcotics offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice. The Combs business constituted an ongoing organization whose members function as a continuing unit for a common purpose of achieving the objectives of Diddy. Now, they're saying that he has a pervasive history of sexual assault and violence. They said for years, Combs and his business engaged in a persistent and pervasive pattern of abuse toward women, men, and minors. This abuse was, okay, so they're naming women, men, and minors, and others. Again, are these others human? I mean, if we go to a petting zoo, are these others in the room with Diddy? I'm being serious. Anyway, the abuse was at times verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual. As part of this pattern of abuse, Combs manipulated both women and men to participate in highly orchestrated performances of sexual activity with both commercial blank workers and unsuspected partygoers. Let me just pause this really quick because we're getting into the meat of this and it gets really, really sick. But let me pause this really quick and just say, let me just pause this and say that at the end of the day got to end. But like all jokes aside, let me just pause this and say this because it's very important to note. With Diddy and all these things going around, a lot of people and Diddy's people are going to try to use the defense that it was all consensual. Don't you know it was consensual? To which one person would argue, if it was also consensual, why did you have to put things in the alcohol? And if it was all consensual, why were there paid SMEX workers and then people that you had to rug? If it was all consensual, where are the SMEX workers that were fine doing it? Why didn't you? Diddy had enough money. He could have had a party full of SMEX workers and they could have all pretended they just, came in off the road. Hi, just came to borrow some sugar. What's this? A freak off? Oh, wow. And gonna pay people to be like pizza delivery. The fact that first of all, there are SMEX workers suing him saying, I didn't sign up for this. I didn't sign up for this. But I think that defense that it was all consensual, if it was consensual, you wouldn't have needed to rug drinks. If it was consensual, you wouldn't have needed that. Everybody would have been a paid SMEX worker. The fact that it wasn't, and here's the thing, if it's consensual, well, then why? Let's just say we are down for freak-offs, and let's just say it is consensual. Then why would I walk into a room where everybody else is being paid for the same ride I got to ride and the same slide I got to slide down on? Any person with a brain would have been like, no, put me on payroll too. I'm just saying. Really quick, I also want to give a shout out to VMN. We're getting to the juicy part. This is just a lead up to in the court documents. He's setting up everything, and we're getting to the juicy part in a second. Jordan DeRose said not even animals were safe from the diddler. Now, listen, we don't know a diddler diddled with animals, but when somebody says men, women, children, and others, again, are we in the petting zoo? Are the others in the room with us? What other is there? Anyway. Unless they're talking about people that are non-binary, but I do think that an officer of the court, I'm not the officer, but a lawyer, right, would actually legally correctly classify people from the LGBTQ community and not just put them as others, but actually say and non-binary individuals or whatever individuals, how they, you see what I'm saying? So anyway, also Repara, thank you so much for becoming the newest member. Appreciate you so much. Okay, let's get back into this. We also got okay. So it was highly, in some cases, there were individuals who were contractors or vendors. In other cases, they were random individuals pulled from a hotel lobby, a show, or off the street. Diddy ensured participation from these individuals by, among other things, obtaining and distributing narcotics to them with or without their knowledge, controlling their careers, leveraging his financial support, and threatening to cut off the same, and using intimidations, violence, and illicit substances. Diddy, while celebrated for his business acumen and influence in the entertainment world, has often been described in more troubling light as a powerful, manipulative, and problematic person. His aggressive tactics, both in business and personal dealings, have drawn criticism, with many viewing him as someone who leverages his power to intimidate and control. This darker side of Combs' persona has been underscored by numerous lawsuits and allegations that have surfaced over the years. Despite his undeniable success, his rise to the top has been marred by a reputation of being ruthless and manipulative, using his influence in ways that have left a trail of legal, personal controversies, including but not limited to the following. They laying out his whole MO. The nightclub shooting incident in 1999. Combs was embroiled in a high-profile case related to a nightclub shooting in New York involving his then-girlfriend Jennifer Lopez and rapper Shine. Combs was acquitted on all charges, so the case remains a significant legal event in his career. Multiple assault allegations. He has been faced with several lawsuits related to alleged physical assaults, many of which have been settled out of court. Business disputes. Combs has been involved in various business-related legal conflicts, particularly surrounding his Sean John clothing line and other ventures. These disputes often involve contract disagreements and trademark claims, and also claims by Cassie Ventura, former girlfriend, filed a lawsuit accusing him of physical, emotional, and sexual abuse in a relationship. She alleged repeated instances of assault, coerced sexual acts, and drug use, all contributing to an environment of fear and manipulation. He particularly fancied the use of the popular date grape rug, Rofinol, or GHB, to commit heinous, non-consensual acts of sexual violence and rape onto countless victims. He would secretly use the rug in alcohol beverage served at his parties, typically champagne or lemon drops. Say it ain't so. Partygoers were forced to consume the alcohol beverage containing GHB either prior to entering or while at the party. There are also allegations of Diddy dousing victims in lotions or similar body oils, also laced with GHB, so that the rug will be absorbed to the victim's skin and make it easier to assault him or her. He has a recurrent and pervasive physical abuse took place for multiple decades. His tendencies of violence and sexual assault were no doubt well known among his colleagues, employees, agents, and businesses. And that's what I'm saying. All of his colleagues. It had to be well known. It was too much, you know? Um, on numerous occasions, uh, from at least on or about 1996 and continuing into years, Diddy assaulted women and men by striking, punching, dragging, throwing objects and kicking them. He also, oh my God, he also assaulted youngins, both physically and sexually. In 1996, he was found guilty of criminal mischief for threatening a photographer from the New York Post with a bang bang. In 1991, we haven't even gotten to the facts of this case. This is just a lead up. We are on page 5, and they are reading Diddy down. They are going through his greatest hits. Tanikra. Thank you so much. Curly, thank you so much for the super chat. Tanikra Curly, I like that. Thank you, Tanikra. Also, Nia M said, "Happy Monday. You're helping me get through work." What's up, Nia? Listen, I know there were things going on. Took a few days off, but your girl is back. And baby, this is going to be we're doing all the legal docs. We might have to split them into separate lives, but we will be doing all the legal docs. Okay, so let's get into this, right? They said numerous civil complaints have been filed by, we skipped over his greatest. They said in 1991, he was arrested and charged with second-degree assault and criminal mischief in connection to assaulting a record executive. That must be Steve Stout. He was also arrested again the same year for his involvement in a shooting at the club. He was blown out that year. What was happening in 1999? Is that when Tucci was invented? What was happening? Okay. Another instance of violence occurred at Los Angeles Hotel in or about March 2016. What was captured on video and later publicly reported when Diddy was where Diddy kicked, dragged, and threw a vase at a woman as she was attempting to leave his hotel room. When hotel security staff intervened, he tried to bribe the staff into silence. I think it cost him $50,000. In the back, you know the funny thing is, and I'm wondering before we get through this, I know he tried to bribe the hotel and this and that, but maybe it's just me. If you are low down enough to cover up an assault and Diddy's offering you $50,000, why wouldn't you sit back and be like, no, I'm going to need you to add a few more zeros? No, 50,000. How about we talk about 5 million and we'll see. Oh, that's too rich to your blood. You know what? I'm sure CNN got a pocketbook. Like at the end of the day, it makes me think that all those people that sold the Diddy, like y'all sold so low. Like again, you helped him cover up, but you guys didn't even get the bag you could have. Just like the driver from in the Shine thing where Diddy offered him a ring or a watch or whatever, you could have gotten so much more. Let's get into this, right? Okay, they're saying that in the past, numerous civil complaints have been filed. Okay, let's get through this. Hold on. They gave a shout out to Little Rodney Joy. They said Joy Dickerson Neal also sued Combs in New York after alleging she was rugged, sexually assaulted, and secretly recorded in 1991. They allege civil complaints between 2009, 2023. Cassie, the most notable, Liza Gardner, alleged that she was raped with her and her friend 1990, 1991 when she was only 16. We also have, hold on really quick, y'all. We also have them saying that in December 2022, an anonymous plaintiff sued New York saying that she was rugged and gang raped in 2003 when she was only 17. They talk about Little Rod. Said he allegedly forced him to engage in unwanted sex acts and sex trafficking, among other allegations. He alleged that Diddy regularly rugged others, including minors, by giving them rugs laced with E and other great God. In 2024, Chris McKinney, April Lampros, he cites Audra English. Okay, saying she was employed by Diddy as an entertainer at his famous white parties that brought together the biggest names in the music entertainment industry. Dawn Angelique Richards sued. The grand jury indicted. Blah 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 blah. Long history of violence. Okay, so we got past that part where they're explaining how Diddy ain't ish and ain't never gonna be ish. Wasn't born ish, ain't never gonna be ish, and he gonna stay not ish. Okay. So anyway, they go into the parties. If I was Justin, I'd be real worried about this. Okay, factual allegations. Diddy's legendary white parties in the Hamptons were well known by many. They were well known by many. Were well known by many, including John Doe. The kind where countless celebrities would attend. In 1998, when John Doe was only 16 years old, he was recruited out of New York City and indeed while residing in New York. Hold on really quick, you guys. Okay. Hold on really quick. Okay, so he's saying that he was recruited when he was 16. Everybody knew about Diddy's parties and everybody wanted to be a part of Diddy's parties. I mean, right now, and it sounds super actual, factual, dactual. Okay. He was recruited out of New York City and indeed, while residing in New York City, received an invitation to one of Diddy's parties through a mutual connection. When he received the invitation, he felt like he finally had the opportunity to rub shoulders with the who's who in the industry. He thought it would be a chance to break into the music industry. Others from New York City received such invitation to go to the Hamptons for the party. Indeed, many of those at the party were in fact New York. The party took place at Diddy's mansion in the Hamptons. As he entered, he spotted countless celebrities and A-listers who formed the music and entertainment industry. He recognized faces he had seen on TV and the big screen. So John Doe made his way through the crowd toward the restroom. He unexpectedly bumped into Diddy. He was shocked. He found himself face to face with Diddy, a titan in the music industry, standing right in front of him at his own party. He even took a picture with Diddy at the 1998 party. Yo, there's a picture here. Okay. So Diddy can't say he was never there. I mean, the kid was never there. Diddy took an interest in John Doe and wanted to talk to him. They walked to a more private area near the portable restrooms brought in for the party. When John Doe told Diddy he was a big fan and shared his dreams of becoming a star, Diddy smiled, telling him he had potential and the look. John Doe admitted his voice was not great, but Diddy said, yo, that don't matter. Diddy made clear the only thing that mattered was having the right look for the industry. And with it, Diddy could transform him or anyone into a star. Despite the pleasant conversation which occurred, things took an unprecedented turn for the worse. Diddy abruptly told John Doe that he needed to drop his pants. What? Yo, Diddy. Yeah, okay. Let's get back into it, right? It took an abrupt turn. All right. So anyway, he was walking to the bathroom. He ran into Diddy and he was like, yo, I'm your biggest fan, this and that. And Diddy was like, yo, you know, you could be a star with my help. And the guy was like, yeah, okay, well, my voice is not great, but this and that. And Diddy was like, yo, shh, it don't matter. Because you don't need, it don't matter. Because you don't need the perfect voice, baby. All you need to do is be the perfect person. That's all you need. And by perfect person, I mean the perfect person to me. He's in the middle of saying, I can make anyone a star. And then he abruptly stopped and said, yo, drop your pants. Diddy was a wild person. Okay. He told him to drop his pants. John Doe, caught completely off guard, confused, asked Diddy to repeat himself. What? Wait, what did you say? Diddy made himself clear. Yo, drop your pants. And he exposed, he told him to drop his pants and to pull his out and show him so that he could inspect it, explaining it was a rite of passage and that route was that was a rite of passage and the route to becoming a star, and also as a way to prove himself, saying, "Yo, don't you want to break into the business? Well, before that happens, I'm gonna have to break your I don't know if he said I'm gonna have to break your back, but he said, "Don't you want to break into the business?" He immediately felt uncomfortable, froze, and did not know what to do. Diddy remained calm, stood in front of him, and stretched out his hand in a cup position. Out of fear, anxiety, and the imbalanced power dynamic between him and Diddy, John Doe then um, dropped his and exposed his blank, just like Diddy said. He moved closer and grabbed his blank with his hand. He firmly cupped and held onto John Doe's blank for an extended period of time. During this time, Diddy moved his hand in such a fashion to manipulate blank, squeezing and filling them. He was only 16. He abruptly then let go of the Blanetals and told them that his people would be in touch. Diddy continued with his party as if nothing had happened, but for John Doe, everything had changed. John eventually recognized that Diddy sexually assaulted him and threw his power and influence over John Doe because he knew John Doe wanted to become a star. As a result of Diddy's sexual assault into John Doe while he was a minor, John Doe experienced damages including pain and suffering, mental anguish, physical impairment, emotional torment. The interaction continues to humiliate and cause shame to him. Because of Diddy's power and notoriety, he was afraid to report what had happened. John Doe became yet another sexual assault victim of Diddy through the same pattern and influence that he exercised over previously. Okay, so one second. Okay, so that was one. All right. Let's get into the second one. We can skip past all this stuff. He gave the same intro for everyone. Uh this is the second gentleman. We're going to get into the second gentleman that's suing. Again, there are 6 lawsuits. I got through the intro. All the lawsuits share. Let me put myself on the simulation screen. All the lawsuits share the same exact intro about who Diddy is. He is she. The actual facts are different for each one. We just got through the facts of the first lawsuit. Now we are going to get into the facts of the second lawsuit. Okay. Yes, this is going to be a long live, but for everybody working, your boss ain't talking about nothing. And actually, you know what? You've been telling them, listen, hold on. Okay. So, one second. Okay, so that was the first one. Okay. Let's get into the second one. The parties are the same named parties, this and that. Let's go to factual allegations. In or around June 9th, this is another whatever. In or around June 1999, plaintiff attended a promotional party at Elks Plaza in New York City. Wait, what is this? Sorry, I keep getting text. Okay, one second, y'all. Let me just fix this up right here. One second. One second. One second. 1 second. Okay. All right, sorry guys. Let's get back into these factuals, right? So we are on the second case. There are 6 cases, 2 women, 4 men. It's going down. We are on the second case, and let's get out into it. If you guys want to hear all of the legal jargon from the people he's suing and what was the nature and whatnot, please fast forward, please rewind. Right now, we are jumping right into the meat of this, okay? They said on or around June 1995, he attended a promotional party at Elks Plaza in New York City for a music video. One More Chance by Biggie Smalls. Yo, how far are these lawsuits going back? The event was packed with high profile guests. While plaintiff was dancing with friends, Diddy, this is a woman. Okay. While Diddy was dancing with friends, Diddy approached her and asked to speak with her privately, expecting an innocent conversation. She agreed and followed him. Alone in the bathroom, Diddy unexpectedly began kissing the plaintiff. Feeling uncomfortable and confused, uh, she asked Diddy, like, slow down, believing they were there to talk. Instead, Diddy advanced aggressively. When the plaintiff attempted to pull away, oh my God, he violently struck her, slamming her head against the wall and causing her to fall to the floor. What the hell? Disoriented and in pain, she tried to escape, but Diddy hit her again, making it nearly impossible for her to move. He then he then lifted her blank and raped her blanked while she lay helpless on the floor. She tried to resist, but her injuries and shock left her powerless. At the assault, Diddy adjusted his clothing in a nonchalant manner and threatened the plaintiff, saying, "You better not tell anyone about this or you will disappear." She left her terrified for her life. He left the bathroom, abandoning her in a state of shock, fear, and shame. She remained on the bathroom floor for a while, trying to regain her composure. She felt intense pain in her head from the blows and was emotionally shattered. After some time, she managed to stand, fix her blank and her dress, and wipe away her tears. Terrified that someone from Combs's business might be waiting outside to harm her, she cautiously gathered the courage to leave the bathroom. She left the party and never returned. Since the assault, she has avoided the news as it triggers traumatic memories. For years, she kept the assault a secret, fearing retaliation from Diddy and Combs's business. Yeah, Diddy needs to go to jail. Diddy needs to go to jail. So that was complaint 2. It was by Jane Doe. That's the second female plaintiff that we just walked through. That is everything she's actually claiming. She's basically claiming that Diddy walked in, said, "Yo, can I talk to you for a second?" Anyone. He is Diddy. He is rich. He is powerful. He's the person throwing the party. She's single, right? She's like, "Yeah, what's going on?" You think he's going to try to kick game to her. Instead, he asked her to step into a bathroom to talk privately. Again, some people could say, "What are you doing going into the bathroom?" Baby, no means no. I can go anywhere and I could be sitting there on your bed talking to you. That is not permission for you to violate me. When she tried something on her, she was disgusted by the mouth beater and she said, "Oh, wait, no, slow down." He then raised his hand, struck her so bad her head hit the wall. Then he struck her again so bad it knocked her down. While she was in pain and disoriented, he lifted and took what he wanted. And then when she left, told her if she said anything to anybody, he was going to enter. She laid on the bathroom floor for a while, scared, embarrassed, ashamed, just going through a traumatic, beaten up. She finally got her courage to walk out and she left that party and never looked back. Let's get into also the third John Doe male plaintiff, the third John Doe male plaintiff of the Diddy case. Okay. We're going through all of these. Tony Buzbee is going through all of these. Again, just joining us, this is the third male accuser for Diddy. We are doing the full legal analysis. We are reading all the docs. If you want the actual if you want the introduction, he says the same introduction. Please rewind. He has the same introduction about what Diddy did, not what he did, but who he is. And he goes through a litany of Diddy's cases and why he is probably the worst person ever. Okay, let's get into this. This is the third John Doe, the third John Doe. There are 6 cases filed. There are 4 men, 2 women. We have done the original John Doe, who was a minor, right? Johnny Doe. We have just done a woman that said that during the Biggie's One More Chance, it was either album or video party, Diddy did that stuff. So that's another thing. Diddy, let me just pause and say this. By that second allegation, if it can be proven true, and it sounds like everything else everybody was saying about Diddy, I would think that that is the most damning thing to Diddy's internet comeback. There's a lot of people making excuses for Diddy, saying he learned that somewhere. Somebody had to teach him that. But from this woman's thing and her being violently assaulted and then raped at a party and saying, yo, I'll end you if you say anything, that shows that Diddy was always on this dumb stuff. Diddy was always on this evil stuff. Nobody taught Diddy. He was born in that evil. Maybe it's original sin. I don't know. But if what this woman, the second lawsuit, Jane Doe, was saying, that destroys anybody saying, oh no, Diddy was taught. You don't think he did that on? Yes, he 100% did that on his own because he is evil. But let's get into the third case, okay? This is the John Doe fourth case. First one was Johnny Doe, youngin. Second one was Jane Doe. This is another John Doe. They did, again, another white party. It makes me think also, because I used to be of the opinion that there was the white parties and then there was the freak offs, right? And the freak offs were the things that were crazy, taped, all the stuff. But it's beginning to see that a lot of grape happened at the white parties before they even got to the freak offs. So now we need to start looking at everybody who actually attended the white parties a little bit differently, because just because you attended, what time did you go home? Did you go home before they drank the Diddy aid or after? Okay, let's get into this. That's what it is Diddy aid. For now on, anytime somebody hands you a strange drink, or I ain't drinking that Diddy aid. Get out of here. Sean Combs' infamous white parties were legendary events known for their exclusivity, extravagance, and strict dress code, where attendees were required to wear all white. These high-profile parties, particularly those held at Combs' estate in Hamptons, attracted A-list celebrities from across the entertainment, fashion, and business world. The events were lavishly decorated, featured live music performances, and boasted top-tier food and beverages. The atmosphere at these parties was one of opulence and luxury, often making headlines for their celebrity guest list, over-the-top entertainment, and stunning aesthetics at the event. Many unsuspecting individuals were recruited to attend these parties. Some of these recruitments took place in Manhattan. Many individuals were also recruited in Los Angeles and were paid to fly in and attend those functions. In 2006, the plaintiff was employed by security firm Mass Security, where he provided security services for nightclubs and private events. In August of that year, he accepted a last-minute job at Diddy's East Hampton property, where he believed which he believed was hosting an exclusive white party for a large, affluent crowd. He noted that the guests arrived in luxury vehicles and many appeared to be executives. So we're in 2006 now. First complaint was in 2004, I believe. Second complaint was in like the One More Chance video, whenever that was, 1980. I don't know, whatever that was, right? In August of that year, he said, okay. Upon, hold on really quick, y'all. Sorry, I just got a disturbing text, but you know what? Let's keep going. We will not be stopped. We're going to keep going. Okay. Upon the security guard's arrival, right? We'll call him John Security, JS. We'll call him John Wick since his name's John Doe Security. We'll call no, because John Wick. No, we'll call him John S. Okay. Upon John's arrival, he was greeted by Diddy, the event's host, who expressed interest in meeting all staff members. Now, during this interaction, Diddy offered John another job opportunity working security, which he actually said he declined due to his father's severe illness and the challenges of relocating. Diddy appeared sympathetic to John's situation and understanding of his decision. As the event progressed, Diddy targeted John and provided him with 2 alcoholic drinks to the night. So Diddy saw this mofo, probably looking ripped, on some John Wick stuff, and approached him 2 separate times and was like, yo, have a drink. And he's like, yo, I'm security, Mr. Combs. He's like, okay, I'm the host. Have a drink, right? You think your boss is being cool with you. After consuming the second drink, John began to feel extremely ill and leaned against his truck for support. Based on information and belief, Diddy, by himself and through his agents, employees, previously laced the drink with drugs, including but not limited to GHB or E. This behavior towards John mimics a pattern that Diddy and his agents' employees of rugging unsuspecting victims in order to make it easier for Combs to sexually assault that person. Unfortunately, John was one of those victims. A photographer of a photograph of an exemplary container used by Diddy and his agents to, oh my God, they have a photo of one of the containers used by Diddy and or his agents. Baby, we looking at KK according to Little Rod's lawsuit. That's his assistant. Right? His José Maxwell, people are saying she looks a little bit like José Maxwell too. Oof, this media storm ain't going to be easy to fix. But they have a picture of the container and the drink. Let me hold it up on screen. This is the container they said that they used. I have it on screen right now. This is a picture of the container that they said that they used in order to put the GHB in people's drinks. Wow. This is hold on. Let me put this on the Summer Jam screen just in case y'all need it. This is the container. That's what they use to put stuff in people's drinks. Now, Diddy, after he had given him a second drink, Diddy approached him again. Yo, this guy has proof. He has a photograph of the container that Diddy and or his agents used to put GHB into alcoholic drinks. Now, Diddy approached him again, inquiring about his... Hold on. Diddy approached him again. 1 second, guys. Hold on. Sorry. My phone. I dropped my phone and it's ringing. Hold on. Hey, I'm on live. Can I call you back? Hello? Hello? 1 second. Everybody with these things are giving me. Everybody and their mom are giving me. Okay. Sorry, guys. Everybody I know is giving me more information as it comes in, but I'm trying to just get through these court documents. Then I'll make a bunch of videos actually going into like what the streets are saying. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so Diddy approached John again, inquiring about his well-being. Yo, how you doing? And displaying what initially he interpreted as concern. Let's not forget that John had been like, Diddy literally didn't know anything about it. Was like, yo, I want you to work for me, and asked him to relocate. John was like, yo, I can't. My dad's sick and there's a lot going on. So I got to like stay in the New York area. So Diddy approached him again, displaying what could be interpreted as concern. However, he soon found himself being forcibly pushed into, oh my God, into an open van by Diddy, an act that left him in considerable pain. Why would Diddy force him into an open van? Yo, this man is a monster. And can you believe Bow Wow's dizzy self was literally talking about, yo, the industry ain't the same since Diddy's parties. Diddy was dating the mother of your child not only 2 years ago. It's just the fact a young Miami won out over George Chavez, but she was in the running to be Young Miami. And Bow Wow talking about, yo, he done so much for the culture. I was just riding around being like, yo, the industry ain't the same. So you cool with all this happening to all these mofos as long as nobody you know. And all you care about is whether a party is jumping. Take your freaky A ninja self into the house. Stay inside. Anyway, let's keep going. So he's just been pushed into a van. This is getting deep. It's like hostage. Okay. Once inside the van, oh my God, John was held down by Diddy, who overpowered him while he struggled to escape due to the effects of the drugs in the system. Let's not forget, John is security. He must be swole. But Diddy handed him 2 drinks, and Diddy knew that after 2 drinks, John wouldn't even be able to defend himself. He said, yo, come on, let's go outside. Pushed him to a van. And when he got into the van, Diddy overpowered him. In a horrific turn of events, Diddy sexually assaulted plaintiff by inserting his blank into blank's blank and blanking him. All the while ignoring his pleas and calls for help by saying, you'll be all right. Diddy asked the man who said that his father had a terminal illness to go outside to talk. And when he went outside to talk, pushed him into a van. This man is sick. Pushed him into a van after he had rugged him 2 times, bought him the drink personally, pushed him into a van. Then, as the guy was trying to fight him off, literally inserted his blank into blank, took his blank, and literally was whispering you gonna be all right. You gonna be all right. You gonna be all right. After the assault, Diddy left them in the van and proceeded back into the party. This is another thing that all the victims say. He does this crazy, heinous stuff that strolls back in the party. I hope that this destroys anybody that would use as a defense. They knew that why they were there. They knew what they were looking for. They knew this. They knew that. They didn't know nothing at all. They did not know anything at all. They did not know. Hold on, y'all. My thing. They did not know anything at all. All right. After the and it seemed like, and this is what I always want to say. It's the last thing, and we'll get back into the complaints because there's 3 more to go. It's all about grape. It's all about power. It's all about control. And I will say this one thing: people that are into this stuff, they don't want the person. They don't want the person that is doing it. They don't want the person. It's just like me. I'll do it. I'll do it. Please pick me. They don't want that person. They want the person that is like, leave me alone. I don't want this. This is what they are actually into. This is what they are actually into. Okay. So he struggled to leave the party due to regs he believed to be in the system from the alcoholic drinks he provided. As he was leaving the party, he experienced a disturbing sensation as, okay, so Diddy left plaintiff in the van and proceeded back into the party. He left and went to the party. He struggled, the security guard, John, struggled to leave the party due to the regs he believed to be in the system from the alcoholic drinks that Diddy had provided him. As John was leaving the party, he experienced a disturbing sensation as a lubricant-like fluid leaked from him, which he believed to be, oh my God, Diddy's love juice. And he said he was repulsed and disgusted by that feeling. When he finally managed to leave the scene and return home, he actually told his supervisor about the incident. Upon arriving home and showering, he noticed more love juice discharging, which intensified his feelings of violation and revulsion. In the aftermath of the assault, he struggled with intense emotional pain and mental health issues, feeling disgusted and deeply depressed. He has experienced a significant impact on his personal life. He has never married and often struggles to maintain relationships due to the assault. He describes himself as an all-American guy, yet acknowledges that not a day goes by without these thoughts of traumatic incident. Yo, this is wild. This is actually getting like really scary. And I hope anybody that's actually defending Diddy feels stupid, dumb, or maybe you're on some of these tapes actually enjoying. Let's get into the fourth John Doe versus, let's get into the third man, the fourth accuser. Again, if you guys want to know the jurisdiction, the venue, all the legal stuff, who the parties are, it's every Diddy and every business he ever owned. But if you actually want to know who the parties are and blah, 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 please rewind to the beginning of the live. We're getting into the fourth lawsuit of John Doe versus Sean Combs. They said in 2008, plaintiff worked as an advisor for Echo Clothing and had been employed by the company for approximately 7 years. Echo Clothing at the time was among the most popular clothing, one of the most popular clothing lines in the country. In 2008, Diddy's Sean John clothing line was also hitting peak popularity. Plaintiff had in fact met Diddy several times in connection with Diddy, right? Listen. In 2008, Combs' Sean John clothing line was also hitting peak popularity. Plaintiff had in fact met Diddy several times in connection with Diddy's development and marketing of the clothing line. Mark Echo and Sean John were competing lines within the clothing industry, both having had a large amount of success within the hip hop community. Moreover, both lines had relationships with and arrived at the time by Macy's, a well-known department store. Do you think this one is why Macy's might have actually? Do you think this is why Macy's might have actually dumped Sean John's line? Okay, let's get into this, right? In around May 2008, okay, plaintiff was in the stockroom. So let's call him John, was in the stockroom at Macy's flagship store at Herald Square in Manhattan when Diddy and 3 of his bodyguards came into the stockroom. John happened to walk up to Diddy and his bodyguards at a T conjunction in the stockroom. So they were, I guess, at the, in the aisle, and he was coming in from one of the hallways in the stockroom. So he happened to come upon him. And it didn't give John any room to get around him. They said Diddy was flanked by 2 large bodyguards to the left and 1 large bodyguard to the right. Immediately after turning the corner in the stockroom, John was hit hard around the base of the neck, possibly with a pistol. The blow forced John to his hands and knees. As he looked up, he saw that each of the bodyguards had bang-bangs, runs, had pow-pows in their waistband. He heard multiple voices call out things like, I'll kill you. He approached John while John was still on his hands and knees. And, oh my God. On his hands and knees and said, suck my blank, Echo, referring to the clothing line that plaintiff worked for. Why would he be messing with John? What he got to do with Mark? He is an employee. He said, suck my blank, Echo, referring to the clothing line that John worked for. Oh my God. He thereafter forced his blank into the plaintiff's mouth and proceeded to forcefully and brutally, orally grape plaintiff. What? Oh my God. Oh my God. So he's in the stockroom putting stuff. He works for Mark Echo. He's not Mark Echo. He is an employee. He went into the stockroom. He came out, and it was like a hallway and a pathway. It was a T conjunction. He literally came up on Diddy. 3 of his bodyguards, one of the bodyguards he believes pistol whipped him and then hit him again and knocked him to his knees. Diddy and his psychotic then said, "Suck my blank, Echo." Mind you, this is an employee, not even Mark Echo. He said, "Suck my blank, Echo," and then forcibly, he proceeded to force his blank into the person's mouth and proceeded to forcefully, brutally, orally grape them. He continued for at least 2 minutes until he made a deposit in the person's mouth. While orally graping him, Diddy grabbed John's hair and made derogatory comments like, "You like that, white boy?" Y'all, the fact that Mark Agnifilo got Diddy out there talking about this is going to be a story of love, redemption, whatnot. And Diddy was, and here's the thing, these are just the people that felt like they had proof and came forward. There's a lot of people are saying Diddy did this about, but they don't really have proof, or they're too embarrassed to come forward. This is wild. After he was finished, Diddy threw John's head aside and said words to the effect of, "Shut up or I will kill you." Diddy and his bodyguards began to leave, taunting John as they did. Diddy proceeded to gather Sean John merchandise from the stockroom. Wait, this happened at Macy's? Oh my God, you guys. This happened in May 2008 in the stockroom of Macy's flagship store at Herald Square in Manhattan. Is this why Macy's dropped Sean John's line? Are they trying to distance and limit their liability? Anyway, right? After he was finished, he threw John's head aside and said words to the effect of, "Shut up or I'll kill you." Diddy and his bodyguards began to leave, taunting John as they did. He proceeded to gather Sean John merchandise from the stockroom. He left the stockroom and headed out to the Macy's retail floor, where he began passing out merchandise to an adoring crowd as if nothing happened. Diddy is a monster. But also, Macy's ain't get this on security. Anybody that's ever worked retail know that they got cameras everywhere in the stockroom because they swear that their employees are trying to rob them blind. And maybe they are because they only pay $2.50 an hour. But there's cameras in every single section of a stockroom. That's how you prevent employee theft. So how come Macy's didn't know about this? All right. They get this. In shock and traumatized, he gathered himself and went to Macy's security to report the assault. By this point, Diddy and his bodyguards had left the store. Plaintiff was told that someone would speak with him, but no one ever did. Shortly thereafter, Macy's stopped letting John into his flagship store in Herald Square. Approximately three weeks later, Terry Lundgren, CEO of Macy's, pressured Echo executives to fire John because Macy's had just signed a multi-million-dollar deal with Sean John Clothing. Echo thereafter terminated John from employment, and John was told he could no longer live in his company-paid apartment. Plaintiff is informed and believes that the report of the assault was destroyed or otherwise purged from Macy's records, and no action was ever taken as a result of the report. Plaintiff ultimately had to move out of New York. He still fears for his life as a result of the incidents and threats made against him on that day, including the fact that Diddy was known, that plaintiff was known to Combs by way of his work with rivaling clothing company Echo. So let's look at this. It's horrifying that actually happened. Imagine somebody graping you for no reason. Diddy just saw this man, decided he wanted to grape him. His security guards knocked him to his knees. He did it in front of Diddy's security, and then they all went and laughed at him and then passed out merchandise on the floor. He reported the Macy's. Macy's said, "Oh, we're going to talk to you," and never did. Then he reported it. Then he tried to get reported to his company. They didn't do anything. Now, some people might be saying, "Oh, well, what proof is it true?" The fact that he is saying that the CEO of Macy's, the CEO of a company, contacted Echo and said, yo, we're signing a multi-million-dollar deal with Diddy, fire that man. To me, it makes everything he's saying true. Because why would a CEO of Macy's, and that was in Macy's prime, they had things everywhere, and this is a flagship store, ever care about what another company's employee is doing? Literally, that's all he was. He was like a merchandiser, or he was in charge of like dressing. Diddy raped someone in broad daylight, just like he did with the guy in the van, just like he did with the girl. All right, let's get to the next one. This was John Doe. I believe this is the third John Doe victim. There are 4 lawsuits. Two of them are there are 4 lawsuits. 2 of them are what do you call it? 2 of them are women, 4 are men. They are alleging horrific things. Tony Buzbee promised that he was going to drop names. He has not dropped names yet, but he says he has sent out hundreds of demand letters to Diddy's co-conspirators, to Diddy's co-conspirators. Let's get into this. We just read the third John Doe. I'm sorry, we just read the third John Doe and the first female. Now we are getting into the 4th John Doe. One of the John Does, we will call them Johnny Doe because they were a youngin. That was the first one we read off to. Let's get into this. If you want the legalities about who the parties are and the way they read Diddy's whole rap sheet, please rewind to the beginning of the live, or I'll split this up, catch it on playback and listen to the original live in its entirety. But if not, I'll chop this up into little segments for everybody to listen to. Okay. Plaintiff, this is a John Doe, right? We'll call him JJ. So many John Does piling up. We'll call him JJ. JJ worked for Royal Rain Management, a prestigious company based out of New York City with additional offices in Los Angeles and Atlanta. Through JJ's industry connections, he gained access to parties associated with Diddy and Bad Boy Entertainment. One party took place in or around October in 2021. These connections and invitations ultimately led to life-threatening and traumatic experiences for JJ. Diddy's businesses picked JJ up from the airport and transferred him to New York City, where the party was to take place. Upon arrival, JJ noticed several well-known artists in attendance. JJ was immediately offered what he was told was E by associates of Diddy's businesses, which he refused. JJ himself said he was only going to take one drink. He limited himself to one drink because he was like, and I get it, it's work, it's networking. I'm not trying to be like going out. I'm trying to I see all these celebrities, all these musical artists. We can all guess who was at his party. We don't even got to guess. Go to Getty Images. Who was at Diddy's parties? But he says, what I'm going to do. All right. Even though JJ only consumed that one alcoholic drink, the effects of the drink were immediate and overwhelming. This behavior toward JJ mimics a pattern of Diddy and his agents' employees rugging unsuspecting victims in order to make it easier for Diddy to sexually assault that person. Unfortunately, JJ was one such victim. A photograph of, again, JJ is also showing. Let me show y'all. JJ is also showing this. This is supposed to be, look at the screen. This is supposed to be the actual vessel that he used. It's supposed to be the actual vessel that he used to actually deposit it. Okay. JJ became so disoriented and the room started spinning. In a state of confusion, he attempted to remove himself from the situation. He was looking for a safe space. Now, as JJ tried to leave, a male voice told him, hold on, and he promised to help him. The next thing JJ remembers is being in a bedroom. Despite being vaguely aware of his surroundings, he could not move, speak, or fight back. Again, you can tell that JJ does not have a history of taking any type of recreational drugs because that's how much it would actually hit you. And that is, they must have given him a really, really strong dose of the grape rape. The date grape, whatever. Anyway, right? JJ was paralyzed, feeling as if he was trapped in his own body. Multiple men began to sexually assault him through, oh my God, through sodomy and also acts. Hold on. Hey, can I give you a call back? I'm online. Okay. Okay. Through that and other things. Hold on. Oh my God. Through sodomy and other forced acts. JJ distinctly recalls seeing Diddy above him, naked. And at one point during the assault, during this time, JJ was violated by at least 3 men. JJ could feel a difference in the size. Oh my God. He could feel a difference in the size of the men when he was being violated, further confirming the presence of multiple attackers. JJ continues to attend therapy sessions to address the trauma from these experiences. Y'all. Okay, we just went through JJ. That is the 4th male victim. That is his complaint. The complaint is longer. They put in a lot of other words. We went straight into the actual facts of what happened. Okay. JJ, yeah, yo. I mean, it makes you wonder also. Look at this. We're about to get into the last victim. There are 4 males, 2 women. Tony Buzbee says they have a bunch more. They have research. They corroborated. They have evidence to prove that this happens. Okay. These are the easy home ones. They said that also they've reached out to all the people listed in the videos, the celebrities, the recording execs, the whoever was there, they have reached out. They said they've actually reached settlements with a lot of people. And let me just say this. I'm not going to say what a victim has a right and right not to do. They went through it. I didn't. I don't know. Right. The issue is with that, why I would like, even though they might have settled, why I would like the federal government to get involved in is because even though they settled and they feel like they can make peace with themselves, what about the monsters that are still roaming around? The monsters that you don't know. That's how Diddy was able to get away with it. Nobody knew what Diddy was into. Nobody knew not to drink the Diddy aid. Nobody knew not to have to do anything. So you look at what happened, Diddy's pattern. It's almost like he is like a spider, right? And he uses this honeypot to draw in everybody. And when he's at his white parties, according to the lady from the soft white underbelly, I think it's Tania or Tania. Excuse me, I'm not pronouncing her name right. You look at what everybody has to say when you're at Diddy's parties. He somehow thinks that because you're there, he has a right to your body. He has a right to you. And if he sees you and he likes you, first he'll try to, like we said in the last 4, go listen to him. He'll try to offer you something. Yo, you want to do security at my house? You want to move? You want to do this? And when that doesn't work, then he gets those drinks. He watches you almost like a predator. Like, do you know how like kimono dragons, when they bite their prey first. They don't just swallow them. They bite their prey. And it releases their toxin. And over the next 3 days, the prey becomes slower and slower and slower. And the kimono dragon just follows them around the whole time. And finally, when the prey is too weak to actually do something, that's when the poor kimono dragon lashes forward and bites them. That's actually what happens. So when you look at like all this stuff's going on, Diddy has 2 MOs. Either one, well, he watches them. He picks out who he wants. He gives them a drink, makes them drink, and then he has their way with them. Now, that mess that happened in the stock room with John Doe number 3, that was something that's just like, we need to get this mofo off the street. This ain't no a black man problem, Diddy. This is a you problem. We need to get him off the street. He was just an employee who worked as the people in the retail, that their job is like, dressing the mannequins and making sure the display and stuff. I think they're called retail merchandisers. He worked for Mark Echo. He didn't do anything. He was in the stock room literally looking for clothes to put on the mannequin. Bumped into Diddy and his goons, was like, what? They pistol with them, did this. He orally violated him and then went out and passed, like his people watch, then went out and passed out clothes. And when he complained to Macy's, when he complained to HR, when he complained to everything, everybody just destroyed all they ignored it. And on top of that, the Macy's CEO If anybody ever works retail, that's like saying you get in an argument with your manager at Taco Bell, and the Taco Bell CEO, the CEO calls your manager, not even your manager, the Taco Bell CEO calls your manager at McDonald's to get you fired, and you get fired. Tell me that wasn't a cover up. Let me just keep going though. Let's get into Diddy is a monster, and he got off on brutally. It wasn't about, oh, this is an unconventional lifestyle. You got off on graping people that did not want you. You got off on graping people that did not want you. That's what you got off on. You got off on like a kimono dragon, feeding them poison, and like a prey, just going around, and then satisfying yourself. And if you did that and you were on drugs, then who else were you just going around being like, no, I want you, and satisfying yourself? Let's keep going. I noticed that there's nothing in this complaint, in any of the complaints, all 6, about the 9-year-old they spoke of in the 9-year-old they spoke of in the press conference, which makes me believe that at the end of the day, maybe that they settled with that 9-year-old. If I was Diddy, I would have, because that would have literally, people would like, that's the one thing you can say about the poor and the working class, and people can sit there and lick boots and idolize the very wealthy and the elites all they want. The one thing that you will say about working class, middle class, the poor, as much as they want to drag, baby, we protect our children. We will go to war for our children. We might work crappy hours. We might hate our boss. We might do this. We might do that. But baby, when we find out you messing with our children, maybe we will go to war and burn everything down. So if Diddy is smart, that stuff about when it was like, oh, wait, no, you doing this to youngins? No, we're not doing that. And I think that is probably why Diddy's people probably settle. Let me just read these before we get into the last most shocking lawsuit. Let me just read these super chats. Nia, I hope we still helping you get to work, girl. Listen, Tanikra Curley, I like your name, Tanikra. Tanikra Curley said others could mean trans to allegedly. No, you're right. You are completely right. It could mean you don't identify as binary, and you count yourself. I would just think that a lawyer, if you're right in this case, would have enough sense, respect, and due diligence to identify people that do not identify as non-binary as something more than and others. You know what I'm saying? I would just hope. Eileen Negron said maybe he's trying to state it was consensual based on their being present. But then that's what makes Diddy a maniac, because if that's true, they're like on that grimy stuff that like guys used to feel in like 2010, like, well, you was at my house. What was you doing coming over at 2 a.m? And as if you step into a sphere that to them, but at this point, I actually think that he got off on the people that weren't consensual. I really honestly do. Because he saw someone he liked and then he decided to take it. That man got a problem. Billie Jean Fox, thank you so much for the super sticker. Also, B, what's up, B? Thank you for gifting 5 memberships, y'all. Give a shout out to B, the best mod in the world. So okay, said, can you do a review of the Ali Carter story? Yes, I will. I had a lot of stuff I planned to do this weekend, but don't worry, y'all. I'll be back. Okay, I'll be back. Also, Erike Osun, Ariki, Erika, Erike, Ariki, Ariki. How do you say that? Osun. Ariki Osun, thank you so much for becoming a member. How do y'all pronounce that? Let me go in the comments. How do you pronounce Ariki? I'm like Key. Y'all just got a thing into my dyslexic mind. Arike. That's the way I be seeing stuff. Listen. Yeah. Listen, let's say I apologize. Osun. Thank you so much, Miss Osun. Ariki Osun. Am I pronouncing that right? Let's go. LF said, thanks for keeping me entertained while I'm at work. You're welcome, LF. You welcome. Listen, I'm waiting now. If all this mess was going on at the party and you felt so emboldened to stalk someone like a true predator, like a spider, like a kimono, like a true predator, and whatever, I am now finding it harder and harder to believe that anybody that was a regular at Diddy's parties didn't know what was up and didn't know what they was missing for. This is the motion Bow Wow was talking about. This is the motion he missed. Yo, ain't no motion. This is the motion that you was missing, Chad Moss. Anyway, let's get into this last most shocking lawsuit, okay? This is by a Jane Doe. This is by far, to me, the most detailed and shocking lawsuit. Buzbee swears he has more. We are waiting for them. But let's get in to this, right? Listen, it's not to the point of who said, we love our baby said, anybody speaking up for Diddy at this point needs to shut up. Nah, no, you're right. But I'll go one step further. Anybody speaking up for Diddy needs to be investigated too. Because at this point, you can't say you ain't know. At this point, listen, you can't say, as much as people are dragging Jay-Z and Beyonce, they're the only ones doing what they should be doing if they know anything. And that's just staying quiet. That's just staying quiet. Because at the end of the day, that Bow Wow, the Ray J's, all these people, Kanye, I just effed your B in a Sean John tank top, baby. Yep. Cat Williams wasn't joking. I was talking to Natanya Rubin, who I'll probably have on the channel tomorrow. She is one of Diddy's survivors. And she said that Cat Williams, when he said today, this 2004 will be the year of all lies will be revealed, he wasn't joking. And baby, we still got 2 more months. Okay, so let's get into the factual allegations. Diddy and his staff regularly invited members of the public to events such as music video shoots, photo shoots, autograph signings in or around New York City. One such event took place in 2004 across the street from Jane's College campus in Brooklyn, New York. So she was a college student. Though Jane's friend was was she friends? Though Jane's friends and Diddy's accomplices and through Jane's friends and Diddy's accomplices and agents, Jane received an invitation to Diddy's photo shoot. She was 19 years old at the time. She was flattered and excited to receive such an invitation from an individual of Diddy's celebrity and stature. And again, this is something that anybody can actually relate to. You don't think Diddy's a monster. He comes across as a loving father and a family man and somebody who just wants to have fun. So to receive an invitation, and he's super popular and he got a few dollars, you shouldn't have to think, oh my God, am I going to be great going around this man? Okay. Let's get into this. Now, Jane went with her friends to the event and discovered that it was a photo shoot promoting the band, a recording group Diddy signed to his record label, Bad Boy Entertainment. At the photo shoot, she and one of her good friends, another freshman living in the dormitory with Jane, were eventually invited to an after party by Diddy's business associates. Before leaving for the party, Jane had met Diddy at the photo shoot. Diddy told Jane and her friend that they should come to his hotel first for a more exclusive party. Jane and her friend agreed and were taken to a Manhattan area Marriott hotel by a member of Diddy's entourage. Marriott Hotel is going to get sued for this. But also, I do want to say this. I see some people be like, well, what was you doing to a hotel? Lots of people have hotel parties. It's the thing about being with celebrities. There are hotel parties. They rent out the whole floor and they turn that place into a party. So again, plus the girl's 19. I don't care what anybody says. You don't really even get a clue about the evil in the world until you turn as a woman at least 25. And yes, there are people, unfortunately, that learn how evil the world is when they're 12 years old. I get that. But for most people that live a pretty, were blessed enough to have a stable environment, you don't really figure out the evil that the world and men and women can do to you until you're around 25, 26. So I look at 19 as a baby. I really, legally you can do this and that, but you still can't drink. So they already know your judgment ain't that good. You know what I'm saying? Redbone says, did he let that power really get to his head? I wonder if they're going to hear what happened to Justin Bieber and Usher. Looks like the Justin Bieber stuff is leaking out, but let me get back into this complaint. I'll do that on a different live. Melanie King said, keep your 2020 vision on. Don't let some haters distract your role. I'd love to chat with you about a film project. My husband is a screenwriter. He wrote The Game, David Fincher's third film, The Net, Terminator 3 and 4. Melanie, well, shout out to you for having such a industrious and creative husband. If anybody would, and Melanie, definitely you, but if anybody would like to get in contact with me, please contact me directly at Tisa Tells at Proton Mail, or actually you can do tisatells@gmail.com. I'm getting the Proton Mail set up, but tisatells@gmail.com. You can contact me directly. And I'll get back to you. Okay. Thank you so much, Melanie. Let's get back into this mess. Okay. They said, okay, so Jane's 19. She's a college student. She was involved. She was invited with her friends with Disney's business associates to making of the band photo shoot. She went. There was supposed to be an after party. Diddy said, "Why don't you come to the hotel for the real party?" They said, "Okay, bet." She's with her friends. She thinks she's safe. Okay. Now they arrived and it was at the New York Marriott. If this is true, the Marriott should also be sued. Upon arriving at the hotel suite, Jane noticed that there were a dozen people there having drinks and listening to music in a relaxed party environment. While attempting to mingle around the party, Jane and her friend were suddenly grabbed and taken to a separate room off from the main party. Jane believed the man taking them to be a security guard, so she went with them. But when she asked him where they were going, he simply told her, "You know what you're here for." Yo. After taking Jane and her friend to the bedroom, the security guard left the room and locked the door. Yo, they locked them inside the door. The only person in the room, this must be the kidnapping. The only person in the room besides Jane Doe and her friend was Diddy, and they locked the door from the outside. Diddy gave Jane Doe and her friend more drinks, then instructed them to take coca that he had prepared for use on the coffee table. Jane did not want to do the coca. He continued getting gradually more aggressive with Jane and her friend and eventually began forcibly blanking them without their consent when touching them. When they resisted, Diddy ordered Jane's friend to perform sloppy toppy on him, or else he would have blanked them both. Her friend complied and Jay begged Diddy to allow them to leave, but he wouldn't. Diddy turned his sights to Jane and forced her to take off her clothes. Again, under the threat of violence. Once she was under, and let's not forget back then, Diddy was rolling around with them gangsters, with them thugs. Diddy was rolling around with BMF, definitely. So if anybody knew about his street reputation, who knows if it was true or not, but he had a street reputation, okay? Once she undressed, Diddy forced himself and began to blank her. He fondled, molested, and ultimately blanked her, all while she was begging him, pleading with him to stop. Soon, but unlikely due to Jane's cries, the door opened and the security guard from earlier came in to ask if everything was all right. Her friend took the opportunity to rush out of the recently locked door. Jane, however, could not move as Diddy was still on top of her. He got off of her to talk to the security guard. He left the room but told her to stay, otherwise she would be murked. After about half an hour of sitting in the dark room by herself, another security guard came and told her she could leave. She gathered her things and left immediately and called a taxi back to her dormitory in downtown Brooklyn. Yo, who, like, at the end of the day, that is the last of Diddy's lawsuits. They were 4 lawsuits filed by Big There were, 6 lawsuits filed by attorney Big B. I'll chop up all the lawsuits so you can actually hear the factual parts. But at the end of the day, what's the chat saying? Hold on. What y'all saying in the chat? At the end of the day, Diddy is an unrepentant monster. He does not care. He does not know. There is no rehabilitating people like this. If these allegations are true, and I believe them, he got off on rugging people, raping people, anyone he saw. He had a criminal enterprise that thought that they could use anybody he saw as party favors. And as much as people want to be like, oh, those girls wanted those guys, he didn't want the people that wanted it. He could have hired all the blank workers in the world. They could have role played. They could have role played. He could have hired all the blank workers to be like, here, drink this. And they could have been like, okay. They could have role played. He could have paid for the role play experience, the girlfriend experience, anything. He didn't want that. He wanted people that had no clue what was going on. He wanted people that were blinded by his power. His security was helping him get away with this. Macy's, maybe even Marriott might have a claim. They helped him get away with this. Diddy wanted people that didn't want him. Diddy wanted to defile, to debase. Diddy is pure evil. If these complaints can be believed, Diddy is pure evil. He's pure evil. And unlike Gloria Allred, I don't think any of these are a Trojan horse. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, one of Gloria Allred's clients, I think her only client, dealing with Diddy, was exposed to be a liar, or at least they showed documents that maybe she was lying. I'm going to get into that really quick, but I do want to say that I find it odd that even though they said that she was a liar, unlike Tyrone A. Blackburn, who they tried to drag him for even bringing up Little Rod's complaint that has been solidified by what the feds found and the way the feds are treating Diddy. Unlike Cassie's complaint and all this stuff, with Tyrone Blackburn, the only young Black lawyer involved, Diddy's team went out of their way to say he was a charlatan. He was salacious, Your Honor. We want him sanctioned. Get that. But all his cases are still standing. None have been dismissed. Do you know he has actual factual to back it up? I find it odd that Gloria Allred, whose client seems to be exposed as trying to run a hustle, Diddy's team has been very quiet about attacking her. And the thing is with Gloria Allred, I don't know what happened in that case. I do know that every attorney is supposed to vet things, okay? That girl, Thalia, I'm going to get into the report and how it was debunked. But let me just say this. While I'm reading it, please keep this in mind. That girl, Thalia, had text messages that said, oh, come on. She was trying to work a claim. And she said, Attorney Blackburn is going to contact you. Now, we all know that Attorney Blackburn does not represent Thalia. That means that something happened and he vetted her and he decided, yo, I'm not going anyway. When Gloria Allred took on the case, I would assume that the attorneys would have to, talk and share information. I would also assume that Tyrone Blackburn had a legal obligation, an ethical obligation to share whatever with Gloria Allred. Again, it's attorney-client privilege. The fact that Gloria Allred might have been in possession of this evidence that shows that Thalia's case cannot be vetted. Maybe it happened, maybe it didn't, but there's a lot of things that are looking funny, right? The fact that this whole Jay Prince angle, that Thalia knows Jay Prince and Diddy's bodyguard saying this, and Justin Combs is liking tweets about this. Well, and this speculation, it made me think, in this war, Diddy didn't stay on top by being stupid. And he didn't stay on top of covering all this up by playing fair or being nice to people. Rather, Diddy knows and his team know how to run interference. So what does that mean? Out of these 135 lawsuits they say there are, I'm sure there are going to be one or two people that something's not adding up. The fact that Gloria Allred, a noted attorney, brought forth someone who, on the surface, any attorney, if they had done that much vetting, would have saw that she was not credible. Or there were issues that she needed to be made more credible. You brought her forward. And when you brought her forward, everything fell apart. Diddy's team's holding it up. It's like, see, there's lots of liars. And nobody's dragging Gloria Allred. Nobody is saying, oh, what's going on? Nothing. They're just letting it go. But with Tyrone Blackburn, the person that still got all the cases settled, standing, and the person that bought all this on Diddy's head, they literally are still trying to go after and assassinate his character. It makes me think, was Gloria Allred supposed to bring a Trojan horse? It makes me think that as we move forward, would Diddy try to send some red herrings so they can be like, see, this person's lying? Just to make it seem like, since we caught one person, perhaps, I don't know if she's lying, but we caught one person with a very shaky case, That makes all the 135 people. It's just odd to me that Diddy's team has not come out and actually attacked Gloria Allred. It's odd to me that they haven't done anything. Again, just things I think about, but it's very, very odd. Really quick, Elaine Negron said, no means no, stop means no, can't means no. Exactly. Your breath stink means no. I'm bored means no. You don't look the same in the lighting looks no. The closer I get to you, the more I see your eyes are close set. The closer or further away, the more I see your no, I don't like you anymore. I don't find you attractive. You told a corny joke. We are entering a new stage. It don't matter if I am completely on the thing and I planned it and got you chained up. If I say, yeah, I changed my mind. I changed my mind. I don't owe you nothing. The same way we need to look at somebody's body, the same way we look at money. I don't care what I promised you. I don't care what you promised me. I don't care how much blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, if I say, never mind, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. If I say, never mind, that's not going to work. It's not going to work. You see what I'm saying? So I just think it's important to pay attention to that. I think we need to actually, I think we need to actually treat people's bodies the way we would treat money. They ain't gotta, I don't owe you nothing. Exactly. That's the way. It might be messed up, but we don't owe you nothing. So with this Thalia Graves thing, let me just read what happens. I don't know. I feel like Diddy's team is going to start doing Trojan horses and to say, because this person did this and that, then everything must be this and that. They're even showing pictures of Cassie and Diddy slow jamming in 2010. Do y'all not know what abuse looks like? Like, okay, that's why she stayed so long, because she actually loved him. And when he wasn't being an absolute whatever, she felt like she'd gotten everything. But, we're going to let a court psychologist break that down. Anyway, this is the article. Diddy's rape accusers ex claims she offered a bribe, $3 million if you back my story. They said Diddy's latest accuser, who's suing him for allegedly raping her and recording it, tried to get her now ex-boyfriend to corroborate her claim by paying him 7 figures, according to an ex. Thalia is suing Diddy and his head of security, Joseph Sherman, for allegedly raping her back in 2001. In the suit, she says she was dating one of Diddy's employees who was shown a video of the alleged incident. However, TMZ has seen a November 2023 text exchange between Thalia and the man who was her boyfriend. And in it, she reveals she's planning to sue Diddy because he's the one that has the money. It also appears she offers to give her boyfriend $3 million if he agrees to back her version of the alleged events. After asking him to attest, he's seen the alleged video in the incident, and the actual text reads, what do you need, $3 million? They said they talked to Thalia's ex, who confirmed the validity of the text messages and told us he interpreted it as an attempted bribe. After receiving the text, he says he blocked Thalia's number and also blocked her on social media. I believe that man still works for Diddy, but whatever. What's more, we're told Diddy's lawyers also have a copy of the same text we reviewed between Thalia and her then boyfriend. Thalia's attorney, Gloria Alfred, says it is very common that rich, powerful men and their supporters attempt to discredit, shame, and humiliate accusers who have the courage to actually come forward. The complaint speaks for itself. Our client is looking forward to her day in court. Again, listen, at the end of the day, who knows what's going on with that? Maybe she is telling the truth. Maybe she's not. The court of law will decide that. But it's just making me think that as we move on, Diddy's people are bringing in more and more and more Trojan horses. You know what I'm saying? Just more and more and more children's horses, right? It's odd to me. It's weird. And judging by the way that Diddy was able to keep control for so long, judging by the way that Diddy was able to keep control. Hold on, guys. Turn the air on. Judging by the way that Diddy was able to keep control for so long, I do think that this is just one of Diddy's rinse and repeat. Again, he didn't stay doing all that by accident. It happened for a reason over and over and over. You know what I'm saying? It happened for a reason over and over and over. Listen, I will say one thing also. They're trying to get Cassie's video thrown out, but somebody made a good point, right? Um, listen, listen. Again, Courtney says that I need to get my hands on the full text messages. Her boyfriend is the one who showed her the video of her being raped. Listen, it will all come out in a court of law. My issue is there are too many people for them all to be lying. Again, Thalia can be vindicated. The text message I saw look a little shaky. But that said, oh well, take that mug to court. Take that mug to court because Diddy is a skilled master manipulator, you know? Diddy is a skilled master manipulator, you know. At the end of the day, who's that? Naja gave a good point. Naja said Diddy did that video about Cassie's situation and removed it. So it's an admission of guilt. Exactly. That's another thing. You can get the Cassie tape thrown out, but you made a thing apologizing for it. But then again, maybe that was always their plan. Maybe that's why he made that apology video, but it was a half-ass apology, right? Because, you know, mistakes were made on both parts, right? At the end of the day, you know, I think like, I think at the end of the day, let me get out of here. At the end of the day, it is, hold on. Let me just do this. Okay. No, there are no mods, right? But don't worry, you guys. I go through the chat later and I block anyone. So just ignore the trolls. It's good, but right. At the end of the day, I just blocked Reaper. Don't worry about it, right? Exactly. Just ignore that person. That's what they want. That's what they want, right? I actually did, okay? I removed Reaper, y'all. But anyway, at the end of the day, don't worry, y'all. I'm gonna get some mods in here. We scaling up, but we gonna do it. Anyway, getting it in what Charlie said, are the predators who were able to purchase their blank tapes back still able to be charged, or will they be charged? Well, that is something for the federal government. If they participated in people that were rugged or trafficked, they will be charged. But I think at this point, everybody just wants to make sure that it's not exposed like on the open market. But if they engaged in criminal behavior, like you had blank with a trafficked person or somebody that was inebriated, yeah, they actually could be charged. I think that they're more afraid right now of being publicly shamed or having to testify as to what they were doing. And I'm interested to see who all these people were, you know? I listen, listen. Yeah, I agree with that. Who said that? Slay said, I can't remember, but where I heard it, but they say that the video of Cassie was the most PG that they could show in the public. Exactly. Anyway, you guys, listen, let me get out of here. There's a lot of news coming out. I'll make sure to post as much as possible. And I'm going to break all the ones with the complaints into different pieces so you guys can easily digest them instead of having to rewind during the lives. All right. Anyway, y'all, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you so much. And I will talk to y'all later. Bye.